Hello, we're here at Shoe Healer in Doncaster, and a customer has sent us these beautiful Barkers. Richard sent us these Barkers. He's bought them off of, I think, Vinted, he said. What a lovely, lovely old pair of Barkers. We can just about make the name out in there. Look, can you see that? Are you getting that? And these are half leather lined, and then they switch to nothing. It's just naked, but this leather upper here is really tough leather, beautiful. And look at this stitching here. Look, this stitching there. I don't really know what you would call that. So this is the entire leather upper coming up, going around there. It's been stitched through, and then the shoe has been closed, channel stitched through there. But that stitching doesn't go through there. This has got a Blake stitch through the inside of the shoe into the channel, into the closed channel. So originally that would have just been a smooth leather there. You can see, just look, zoom in here, and you can see where the feather over the top of the channel has worn through, revealing some of the stitching. Beautiful old shoe. Look at that heel as well. Look at that, all these rivets in the heel there, and this is a rivet through a washer in the rubber to hold it tight, and it's obviously been worn down, and then you know, look at that heel, it's nearly at the end of its life there, and then it's revealed the retaining washer that holds the rubber down. So beautiful old pair of shoes from, I would have thought, the 70s. You know, mid to late 70s is what I'm thinking with these old Barkers. Somebody might know better and tell us in the comments. So the customer said these are very slippy, and they will be. Look at all this ironware here. That'll be super slippy. The leather sole has gone quite hard. Still good leather, still flexible, but it's gone quite hard. So the customer said, Richard said, what are we going to do with them? And I said, right, but my advice to you, Richard, is to have a cover sole, a thin Topy. It's called Thin Lux. Is it Thin Lux, Paul?
F-I-N-L-U-X.
F-I-N, Thin Lux, yes. Okay, a thin Topy, super hard wearing. This will keep the shoe nice and flexible. It will stop any moisture being drawn into the leather sole. We get to keep the original chassis of the shoe, which is... They do wear like iron. Yes, they do. They do. They do. If you're going to be chuntering, you should have a mic on and join in. You know, doesn't want to join in, but once he gets going, you can't shut him up. Anyway, we did lose the other mic. We have. Yes, we'll get some more. They're only 10 bob swervers, but better than nothing. Kryptonite, yeah, that's it. So these are the Kryptonite sole. The Topy sole wears really well. We retain all the original sole. When you buy a new shoe with a leather sole, if we're selling a pair out of the shop, we would always say to the customer, how are you going to wear these? If you're going to dance in them, you want to retain the leather. But if you're going to wear them seriously and go out and about and the weather might turn whilst you're out, you want a super thin cover sole over the top there. So we will machine this, careful not to take out too many. We will catch the odd stitch, but it won't matter, because when we solution them 3 times, the glue will go into those stitches that are there, and it will tighten them up, and it will stick those into the leather. They'll be absolutely fine. Three coats of glue, and then 1 coat on the rubber, and then warm that up so this goes really pliable onto there, work it down, and then in the press. And we're not adding very much at all to the profile of the shoe. On the heel, we will take this heel off. You see you've got the heel there, and you've got a lift underneath. So that is the full thickness of the heel, but that is the thickness of the new JR heel. So when that goes back on there like that, beautiful. That will be an ideal repair on these really old Barker shoes. What's the price? Well, it's I've got to tell you the year. It's 2026, and that repair in 2026 was £80, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, 45 your sold, 35 your combis.
45 you sold, 35 you combi, and then of course there's some postage back to you. We've got these Belstaff boots that were in a video a few weeks back. They've got the commando sole on. Look at that stitching there. Look, you see. Now you can see here where Paul has adjusted the stitch track. He's just machined that back a little bit. Can you see the colour change there? Look. So he's just run that round the machine and adjusted that so it fits perfectly onto that Belstaff boot. Waiting for its leather heel stacks, commando heel. They won't be long before they're going out. We've got 2 pairs of beautiful Crockett & Jones shoes here that you look at the stitching there. Look, the lovely stitching Paul's done. Paul, have you fitted a stout midsole here?
No, the brown pair had a midsole already in.
Right.
Put a midsole in the black pair.
Okay, so these have retained the original midsole in there, and the black ones, oh yeah, you look how light and clean that is. That's had a new midsole in there. And then they've had the Vibram Gumlight sole. Bologna, is it? Bologna, yep. And it's so flexible and so light, but hard wearing. If your shoes are starting to feel a little bit heavy, a little bit hard underfoot, consider one of these sole units. They're absolutely beautiful, and they're from Vibram, so they're going to wear really, really well. Okay, right, what else have we got? Oh, we've got the they had a Victory sole on last time you saw them. Brand new pair of Loke, been stripped down and been rebuilt. There's lots of stuff here. We've got another pair of Cheney, having the Dainite sole in, what colour is this?
Chestnut.
Chestnut, that's right. You know, Rob, you're on it. I was just testing you there. I knew, of course, what colour that sole was. Another chestnut sole on this pair of, I've got to look, but you probably know what they are.
Well, like Red Wings,
they are Red Wings, they are Red Wings, you know. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Right, lovely, I think that's it. I think we've wrapped it up. Shoes all over being repaired.
Are we going to see them?
Here at the shoe heel. See these being repaired?
Are we going to see them done?
Well, I suppose we can, well, come round here. Let's just start it. Let's start the job. Come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, carry on. Right.
Hold on. No, you're alright, you're fine. I was saying, imagine if I nudged him.
Yeah, you'd be unpopular. Right, are we ready? Are we going? Still running, yeah, so you can keep all that in. Take away the dance shoe. Look, there's suede sole on there. Ladies' dance shoes, just having a new heel on. So we'll just move that out the way for a minute. We'll take one of these lovely old Barkers. It's what, sorry?
Being lowered.
Oh, they've been lowered. Right, lovely. So let's see. These can be tough. All those nails. Oh, are these tingles in here? Is that, I can't.
Tingles on a square shafted one.
This rubber has gone rock hard.
Look quite old though, don't
They do look old. Yeah, get to that nail at the back. Okay, that's the heel off. The cover sole onto there. Pull that up nicely, mark it. So we're just carefully machining. We're taking off this feather from the channel. We don't want to bond to that because that will lift. So we're just carefully exposing the stitching, roughing up this sole. You can see where it's been walked through on the toe. Walk through the top of the stitches on both of those. But it doesn't matter. It will hold together lovely and the glue will soak in there, keep this together nicely. What we've got to be sure of is a nice crisp edge. Otherwise, that sole will end up lifting slightly, the glue won't hold it down, and it starts grinning at you like a Cheshire cat. So I find that the last machine that you should do is off of the shoe to give a more crisp edge, rather than onto the shoe, and it takes away bits of the edge and leaves you a raw edge rather than a fluff, like a feather edge. Machine off, and that's lovely on the heel. So we might have taken 1/2 mil off the heel, but that will be absolutely fine. Fresh heel on there. We will check that for the balance before we put that heel on.
In the other video we was on about the different ways, you know, when you're cutting through the stitches.
Yep.
Well, I've seen people do this, where they've used a knife.
Yep.
And carved a little.
Yes, in the top.
No, the waist.
Cut in the waist.
The waist. To do it with a Stanley blade, the first cut.
Ah,
yeah. You've gone straight on the machine.
Yes. Yes.
Is that just another way?
Yeah, you know, what people can be looking to do is to find a nice edge across the waist, so that...
With a Stanley blade, then carve a little section out, you know, this
yeah.
is the first bit.
Yeah, so what we can do there is just take that so that we lower, we put a little lip in there, so we lower the edge of that cover sole, so when you run your hand up, there's next to no... I mean, it's not really, I mean, you know, yep, we can do that, but this shoe we'll just cut. Now you've said it, we'll cut it in. This is a roughing tool, and you see here where the leather, look, it's quite fluffy here. Zoom in here, look, quite fluffy there, but it's rock hard here. And when the glue's on, the glue will soak in because the solvents in the glue will be drawn into that leather, no problem at all. But we've got that smooth, hard surface against the rubber, and it's quite easy for the rubber to break away from that because it's so hard. So we use this rasp, and we're going to just homemade, yeah. And can you see what we're doing? We're getting rid of the rock hard areas around the sole.
Yeah, I can see it.
So that the rubber cover sole has chance to grip, you know, to Now, if we just put that sole on there, yeah, it'd be absolutely fine. But doing this is just that little bit extra, and hopefully you can understand why we would do it. We don't want the sole getting halfway worn and then having a big bubble in the middle where it's not bonded properly, and the rubber expands a little bit. And anyway, I'm waffling now, but that's what I do. Let's see if we can get a nice line across here. Right, lovely, lovely, lovely. So we've got a lovely lip there just for that to drop into, and we'll get Paul to ink this up. But that sole's ready, all prepared, ready for the sole going on. So we'll give it 3 coats of glue, and then we'll get onto the heel. Paul, can I knock this machine off?
Yeah, no problem.
He always leaves his machine running. Pain in the arse he is. We'll be falling out, me and him. Anyway, I've just finished this pair of boots over here, doing a half Dainite. Look, I've tried to line the Dainite up with a bit there. Look, this is from Dainite, half Dainite sole. So if you don't need a full rebuild, you can have a half Dainite sole and heel. This boot is an orthopedic boot. Been built up. We do some of this. We did do some of this. We don't anymore. Paul won't do it now. He's what? Sorry. Is it the Barker Donegal? Beautiful. Here's another one like that. So while I was doing the repair, I thought I would give them a clean up. So I got hold of the Renomat and gave them a clean up. The colour came out. Not that there was a lot of colour in, because the chap that owns these doesn't know how to use polish and brushes. He will have got some when he bought these from us, but he doesn't know how to use them, unfortunately. Bless him, lovely chap. Anyway, I got so far in, and then Rob saw them and he's took pity on me, and now he's going to take them and perform his magic on them. So this is what I'm telling you about is the sole and heel. Sole and heel available Dainite, half sole and heel. Sorry mate, I just need a price. Half sole and heel Dainite. What is it? 80 quid?
Without looking on list, I'm not sure, mate.
Okay, without looking on list, about that, something like that. Okay, doke. So we'll see how these come back from Rob. So we just get on a level surface and put the sole down, put the heel down, and then just see how that sits. Oh, look at that, beautiful. Absolutely lovely. So that sits really nice. So we can get this jammed up and ready for being put together. I've just got to rough the sole up. It is roughed up already, but there's certain areas we like to just go over it again. And the heels have got a smooth finish on the back, so they must be machined up. Otherwise, the glue, you would paint it on and then just peel it off. So we've got to take the surface off so the glue gets into that rubber and bites.
We can't film 3 coats of glue though, can we?
No, because that gets boring. More boring than anything else, yes. Some lovely shoes here, some old churches waiting for Paul to trim them off, stitch them back on. Some cheenies, brand new cheenies. They've had to have a little bit of a repair on the heel to save sending them back. Oh yes, the trickers with molten, yes.
Go into a soft commando instead of the actual commando.
Soft, lightweight commando, yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Right, over here onto, in fact, no, let's use Paul's machine. Let's use Paul's machine over here. Ha ha ha. Work it in. Work it into these stitches as well, look, you see. So all good stitches, all good stitches. We'd already lost a little bit of the toe, but I've had a look round the toe and it's solid. Work that glue in. Thin coats rather than one thick coated jam. I'm not telling you, Paul. You don't know by now, Paul.
Still learning again, isn't he?
Yeah. Get some jam into those stitches. Okay, that's the first coat on there. And
we should have took some before photos. We didn't take any.
Did we not take any before photos? We've got the video of it, and
we
did some close-ups of it. Right, that's that. And then the heels. One good coat on the heels. Again, don't just lay it on. Let's work it in. Into there, into the heat cabinet. We won't switch the heat cabinet on yet. We'll just leave that. Leave that to dry. My uncle, when he was repairing, he had
someone say
gloves. He wore gloves.
Put the shoe in the actual thing.
The shoe in there.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, when you get it wrong, when you put it in there, you can get it wrong.
I don't know if you've mentioned this before.
Someone's
commented saying, "Oh, what are you putting that in there for?"
Well, it's got 2 trays in there to actually take the shoe. So this cabinet is designed to take a shoe. Some other cabinet, so it's got two trays in there the shoe sits in. But in all honesty, I think this machine is an old shoe maker's machine. It's not a shoe repairer's machine. The other cabinet up there, which is more of a flash cabinet, doesn't really have room for shoes. But what I find is your heat cabinet, you can use them in all sorts of different ways.
Stop waving that glue.
You can, your heat cabinet, you can just heat the sole and the heel, get them nice and warm, and then as you put them together, the heat from the sole and the heel will will irradiate into the shoe, and the even though your glue on your shoe is cold, it will warm up from the other side, from the sole side. Sometimes if we're using a really thick rubber heel or a thick rubber sole, a thing that you can do with your heat cabinet is put the sole in jam side down. You know, usually there's runs in there, so the glue won't come off. But if you put it upside down, the heat travels through the rubber, softening all the rubber up, and then it gets to the glue and just warms it, because the glue doesn't have to be scalding hot. If it's too hot, the glue will go on and it'll just come straight off. So you need the temperature to be sort of just touch warm, and I put both in sometimes because it just speeds the job up. Warm that side, boom, together they come. But if I'm working with heavier stuff, then I might put the sole in and the boot in. If I'm working with heavier stuff, I'd put just the sole unit on and get that warmed all the way through. And like I say, glue this side, leave it to dry, and then when you put it in that way around, heat comes through. The glue doesn't get too hot. You know it's got too hot because it goes white. It goes from being sort of transparent to white, and you've got your glue too hot then, and you're doing it no good. So put it in that way around, warm through the rubber. And anyway, I'm waffling a little bit now, but yeah, I'll get this glued up. Anything you want to ask, Rob?
Have they gone up in price then?
What?
45 quid.
Yes, everything goes up. Everything goes up.
What's the other one? Have you got a preferred cheaper brand?
Yes, we have a cheaper one. I don't know what Paul charges. It'll only be maybe £5 cheaper, but no room in there. Yeah, that's.
I got a
Oh,
I
could just.
When I've had my shoes repaired, I've never been offered a Topy. I've always had the other one. I've never
Rob,
mentioned it.
I hope you can hear Rob. He's just saying he's never been offered a Topy. Topy's
I always end up with the
10 bob swerver.
the cheaper one.
I know, but they're good. They're good. We just look at you and think, yeah, you know, this chap
He's got
can't.
money, so we'll
He
get
can't.
him this one. So
He
if you
can't
can get
run.
him-
He can't run to Pirelli's. He's got to have some remolds. You know, that's. I don't know.
That's the perfect-
We might be being too honest here, and yeah. I could just do with a beer now or a glass of wine or something while I'm doing this.
So we
Be
pause
great.
while this glue's drying.
Yeah, we better add, don't we? Because it's going to be a long video. I'm in the activator, just giving that a little bit of heat. For some reason, look, when it's on small, I keep catching this mic, look, when it's on low, both lights are on. When you go to turbo boost, one light comes on. I don't know why that is. But anyway,
Well, Paul said before that doesn't get any use, that one.
no, it doesn't get a lot of use. It's you know, might be knackered, I don't know. When I retire, it'll come up, be given away. Okay, so that's really warm now. I can just hold that, get it right nice down into that there, along there, like that. And then the heel, make sure we get the right heel, and we want the JR logo nicely in the middle there. There's a lot of rubber and not a lot of leather there, but I think that will be nice. And we'll just pop the other shoe in there like that. Onto the last. Take my bigamy and tap it down on the waist, so that's sat into there beautifully, and straight up the middle, and then work his way out. Paul, are we in your way? I like to just push it. Just have a look here, look, this is just push it round there like that, just to work all those edges down solid. And then take my modern Barnsley knife. Jeff will be having a fit. best put my glasses on.
You say how much these were?
How much what were?
Did you say how much these were on Vinted?
He paid £17 for them. Pare that off. Paring it off is the correct term, I believe. And then pare off the heel. Me and Paul used to have competitions when we were paring shoes off to see if you could get it in one like that. Look, look, full roundhouse. Look at that. And then onto there. Tap that back down because we will have disturbed it a little bit. Paul would probably put this into the press, but I know it doesn't need it. We never used to have presses. Just get that joint really nice across there. So now we're onto the machine to do the finishing on these. So let's just hit the button there. Everything's lined up. So gently touching the edge of this saw. We don't want to take too much off. That way this shoe can get 3 or 4 repairs. Yeah,
looks like it's really tight now where it's rolled over.
yeah.
All right on the toe on the front.
What? Beautiful.
It was easy to. No, it's easy than it looks. It looks really close there, doesn't it?
Easy.
Well, not
Easy.
close.
40 odd years of I was a child when I was first stood at this machine. It's not easy. I just make it look easy. Yes.
Looks
Yes.
like it could be easy to nick that leather, that's all.
It could be easy. Could be easy to nick the leather. No. To be honest, modern machines, they make the job a lot easier. The stuff me and Paul started on, you had to be good. Nowadays, you know, with all the guards and all the edges that you have to work to.
When I was polishing now, looking at that thing,
No. Right, so off with the trimmers, onto the breaster. Lovely. Just get a lovely nice edge on these. Careful you don't touch the uppers. And yeah, just run that round there. Just keep going gently. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. We don't want flat spots on there. Keep it moving nice and gentle. So we just take the burrs off the edges. And then as you see, can you see that burr on there? Look, we don't want to leave that on. 45 degrees, just run that around there. And that also helps to take the edge of the profile. Keep that profile nice and thin by chamfering that off. Just a little bit, nothing massive. Nice and even all the way round. And then we're ready for inking. Okay, so we're going to mask this up. Doesn't take long to mask up, but really, if you want to seal the edges nicely and get them on the brush, you can't do it without a little bit of... You what? I know. This is, but
Nice job on that.
no, I've not ruined it at all. It's just going to have a little. Let's have a look. while we're doing this, Paul's just dealing with the repair. Right, okay, so that's masked up there, just gently masked up, just touching the edge. So this is not touching the upper, so you'll be alright, Rob. And then we can ink that, and then we can brush it on the machine. The reason we brush with the waxes, because the friction gets the hot wax, Yankee wax. Yankee wax, can you see it in there?
And anywhere you go, you're gonna have to
Yankee polish, and it gets the, and it really gets it into those, and makes them shine really well. So first of all, we're going to ink it. Just ink the waste. Now, unfortunately, we're going to move that, lose that little bit of, marking from original. Take that up there, like that. And then up the breast of the heel.
I don't live here anymore.
Do you know which repairers where you live?
Yeah, but they're not good. They're a load of rubbish. That's why I come back to Doncaster.
All the problem ain't touch these.
No, I never took them to them because I didn't think they'd be able to do it properly.
Right, that.
I'll see what I can do
You
for
did
you.
me down to crocodile shoes and you made a really good job of it, so...
I'll see what I can do for you then.
Alright, thank you. I'll see you a bit later then, yes?
Okay.
Just let that soak in for a few minutes. They've been left. Give them a bit of a brush. And that's just with the vinegar tool. I'm just waiting for that to set in, and then I'll give them a brush off and I'll probably polish them same colour, or I might use neutral. But that's just had one coat of cognac. So that's brought a lovely shine, that. That's just from the cream. Put some neutral wax on and then they can finish the repair and will show me at the end.
So these are all sorted now. The sole, the heel on those there, all done and dusted. Yep. All turned out lovely. Rob's going to have these back for just one little tidy up where the masking tape just lifts a little bit. So Rob's going to give him the last little bit of a tidy up. And what a lovely pair of Barkers, going to be very, very usable now with that Topy sole and the JR combination heel on. All the edges have set up lovely. Great pair of shoes. They'll be really usable, and hopefully the customer will have plenty of years with them. These were the Belstaff boots that had the commando on there, and yeah, all the edges finished off. Look at the edges there. Look, beautiful, beautiful edges, all finished off lovely. These are the Barkers that had the combination of the half Dainite sole and heel on there. This is the other one there. Look, lovely, lovely, lovely. Couldn't stitch that one on because of the lift that's on that one. But yeah, came up lovely with some of Rob's polish and love on those. Good job, Rob. Did really well on those. You'll have some before and after pictures of those, I'm sure. Yeah. Fabulous. Okie doke.